And next is the anthem for Cote d'Ivoire. Please remain standing.
Hello and welcome to the Nelson Mandela Stadium for match day 2 of the Africa 15s Rugby Cup. It has been quite an experience having 8 nations from across the African continent travel down to Kampala, Uganda, where they have been contesting for the coveted prize of being African champions. And on match day 2, we begin our live broadcast here on NBS Sport with Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire, with an aim of making sure that they avoid carrying the wooden spoon, which is finishing 8th, that would result in dropping into the lesser tier. Senegal coming out with numerous changes, actually to be precise, 6 from the team that started against Kenya over the weekend. Coach Sako Seko clearly did not like what he saw on that particular day, and that is why he's made the changes. Shot 17 Fernandez Correa, who started as the loose head prop, drops to the bench, I think following that mishandling of the ball that could have resulted in a try for Senegal against Senegal. For Cote d'Ivoire, not many changes have been made. In fact, to be precise, only 2. And that brings in shot number 12, Ouattara Yao, who scored one of their 2 tries that they have scored in this tournament, making the start. Alongside him is another change, and that's Kone Cherif, who is the right-sided center. But of course, Traore Seko, who scored the other try for Cote d'Ivoire, will definitely start as well this particular day. John Vianney Simbe calling this game here in the Africa Rugby Cup, and it's an honor presenting to you. And alongside me is Ruben Chihumuro. Ruben, seeing the way these teams went about their business on match day 1, this should be a very tight game as we get underway.
Yeah, great way to start, of course, match day 2. If match day 1 has anything to go by, match day 2 is going to be definitely an amazing one. Of course, the conditions are perfect, and these teams know that they are out of the semi-finals, but there's a lot to play for.
Yeah, definitely. We know, like you pointed it out even over the weekend, failure to win today, then that means that either of these sides would be fighting to save their skins, because if you don't win today, then that means you're going to be fighting in the 7th, 8th team playoff, and that is not a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's very clear like that. Of course, this is the 5th, 6th semi-final. The second one will be against Uganda, taking on Burkina Faso. If they do not win, or the losers of these 2 encounters will find themselves in the 7th, 8th playoff, which will happen on Sunday, and the loser of that one will be relegated from the Rugby Africa Cup. So it's very, very interesting. A lot to play for, futures to play for. There's a lot that at stake.
Ivory Coast, of course, starting off quite well with good ball retention here. Not that Senegal is about to let them to get into their flow. Senegal ranked 61st in the world, while Ivory Coast ranked 47th. So the difference is 14 places. That's quite a gap. And on paper, you'd think that Ivory Coast should easily run away with this one. But it was the same story we felt when Ivory Coast took on Algeria. They were ranked higher than Algeria, but Algeria just took them to school in one way or the other.
Yeah, sometimes you have to consider form over ranking, and that is something that is going to be considered in this one. Of course, two teams that featured in match day one in the quarterfinals, but they have to forget whatever happened in that particular encounter. This is a new day, a new game, and all that is at stake needs to be played for.
And it is Mamadou Ndiaye of Senegal with the ball as he decides to go for touch as they were awarded a penalty. So get the ball near the Ivory Coast trial, and that man there in your picture, Mamadou Ndiaye, scored the first points for Senegal, and that was against Kenya over the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the way Senegal plays runs through him. He's their talisman. He makes sure everything happens, and of course, it helps to have a very, very good boot on him to give them the points as well.
Right before that was a picture of Insa Theo Shat 22, the prop, one of those guys that was brought on in their first game against Kenya for Senegal. He tried to really execute some really good ball carries. Right now from the line out is Senegal Kaba Cisse. Very good line out as Senegal really get good control of the ball, and now they've got to try and see that they get them all working here. And again, trying to gain ground here is Kaba Cisse. One of the changes that Senegal coach has made starts this game, while the previous one against Kenya, it was on the bench. But then they lose the ball, and it's now in the hands of the Ivory Coast, and that is Pilati Alexandre, shot number 10, the fly half. Trying to gain ground, but not making so much headway, Ruben. You expect that this game is going to be quite tight, especially considering how high the stakes are.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, early in the game, there's a lot of caution still going on. Both teams sizing themselves up. Although Senegal is really pressing Ivory Coast and keeping them in their half. As you can see, Ivory Coast is trying to do anything possible to get out of its half. But an error there that takes them back in the Ivory Coast half. So the one thing that Senegal has done well is put the pressure on and keep Ivory Coast in its half.
Yeah, that's a bit of the rush defense that Senegal have come up with, and made it very difficult for Ivory Coast to get any pathways to go through, as that attempt pass from a kick pass by Pilati Alexandre was trying to find Hoto Emmanuel, shot 11, just couldn't keep the ball on. And now it is a line out for Senegal, and Kaba Cisse with the responsibility to throw the ball in, and he does quite well. Continue Ndiaye now playing at fly half today. He actually started as right-sided center. That was against Kenya. Today he plays as a fly half because of Berada Ismail not making the squad. Could be an injury or something.
Yeah, definitely. But of course, even when you look at the previous game, Senegal had the big boys, but Senegal's mobility and the moving of the ball around the pitch was a bit complicated. So I think the changes that have come in today are to allow Senegal to move the ball a lot more easy. So that is maybe perhaps why we see him at the number 10 shot, and you can see already the mobility is showing, and Ali, the big man, trying to look for the opportunity to score.
Yeah, good play there coming in from Senegal's Kadim Cisse as breaks the lines, gets into some real good area for his teammate Sheikh Sana to try and get close to the try line. But Ivory Coast holding their and they force a turnover of the ball now, and it's Senegal did not release the ball, and that was Sheikh Sana once he went to the ground. So it is penalty to the Ivory Coast, and Pilati Alexandra kicks the ball into touch. So it's going to be a line out for the Ivory Coast. I think they do a good job there, Ruben. When you think about it, if you saw how the man shot number 7, Kadim Cisse, had broken the lines, you actually got a sense that maybe he was going to get the Senegalese something, but Ivory Coast doing a good job equally to stop them, and that's good flow coming in from Bloody Welcome of the Ivory Coast, but is held back here. Ball picked up by Kamara Dama of Ivory Coast. Now Alexandre Plati trying to find his teammate here, Sibiri Omar, but as a judge, as a knock-on. Do you feel it was a knock-on?
Yes, it was. There was just a small attempt to try and grab the ball late, and he just knocked it on the ground there. But you can see just the pressure. Of course, they are trying to make sure that everything sticks, and when sometimes you overthink it, that's what happens. The knock-ons happen, and now possession is back with Senegal. Ivory Coast can't catch a break at the moment.
And you can see how upset their coach was there following that knock-on that was committed by Simbiri Omar, shot number 7, which results in pressure on his side. And definitely no coach would want to be on the back foot, especially for mistakes that are avoidable. But maybe you could also say that Pilates' pass was...
yeah, it wasn't the most accurate.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that his teammate, Simbiri, was just trying desperately to keep a good hold of the ball. And now on the scrummage here, Senegalese are doing a good job. But then hand goes up for a penalty to Senegal. Your call on that, Ruben?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, a bit of a
side entry or something.
Yeah, infringements at the ruck there, and it's going to be interesting to see what Senegal can do. They're choosing to go for the line out, perhaps going by the momentum. They have been asking all the questions, and they feel like instead of going for the shot at goal,
force the issue and get it right.
They are going for the big one. They want 5 points.
8 minutes played in this game, and we're live here at the Nelson Mandela Stadium in Namboole.
I think the one thing that's for sure about Senegal is they start early and they start strong. Even against Kenya, they did start strong, but there's always
points on the board.
Yeah, they get the first points and they always have that early pressure. Let's see if this time they can maintain the momentum going forward.
Cisse, Kaba throws the ball in from the line out. Senegal keeping a good hold as they do well at the ruck there, with a bit of pick and drives here as well. And they continue, and this time, of course, it is Kadim Cisse, and they go over the line, and it is a try for Senegal. Finally, like Ruben had projected, they knew what they were doing, and they forced the issue, and they get the try.
The first try of the game goes
yeah, definitely there. All the pressure finally pays off. They backed themselves and didn't go for the penalty kick, and they chose to go for the line out, win their line out, and then the big boys went to work and just dotting down there. Senegal definitely showing the pressure and getting the rewards for their efforts. Let's see if they can add the extras as well. It will be very important for them to get as many points as possible before Ivory Coast can wake up and strike back.
That was a very good piece of play coming in from Senegal at that point, as their fly half, previously the right center, that is Wandiaye Mamadou, prepares himself for the conversion. Good opportunity to get those 2 extra points, but what persistence was shown there by Kadim Cisse in getting over the line and getting Senegal their first try. Conversion in a good position, Ruben? Wow.
Before I could even give my comment there, he gave us an answer. But for a person that kicks with his right, I think it was a good angle. I just think maybe it's just the GBs of the first kick of the day. Perhaps he'll be able to weather that. He's a better kicker than that, definitely. But that wasn't one that is good for the eyes to see.
Yeah, definitely. That was really poor coming in from Ndiaye Mamadou. You only hope that Senegal do not rule this missed opportunity to add the extras, and Ivory Coast get the game restarted here, but the ball is picked up by Kaba Cisse of Senegal. As the fly half, Demba Ken gets it and kicks it out and kicks for territory. It's well picked up this time by the Ivory Coast. That is Traore Seko. Breaking the lines, got one of the tries that they registered against Algeria over the weekend. The man with the ponytail. But then they lose the ball again quickly.
Yeah, Ivory Coast has failed to string a good number of phases, and they can't play rugby like that because they're giving away a lot of possession, and also Senegal is making it intent that they don't want to play in their half. As you can see there, Ndiaye calling for the mark, allowing his team to settle down and getting a chance to exit without pressure. Very, very good covering. They're fielding the ball well, and they seem a lot calmer than they were on match day 1.
but then it's not the same case when it comes to the Ivory Coast. As Ndiaye kicks the ball into touch. As Senegal will sit the ball to Ivory Coast for the line out. But like you said, Ivory Coast still failing to get into any sort of rhythm here.
Yeah, of course, there's two West African nations. I say West African derby. These nations have so far met 5 times on neutral ground, and Senegal, interestingly, has the advantage, 3-2. This is their 6th meeting.
Good play there coming in now from Senegal's Lamine Silla as he made that steal. Then Senegal just don't get anything productive from that move. Following that kick.
Thumping tackle while he was trying to kick the ball. I think it just
set him aback.
Yeah, and then he kicked the ball straight out. That is what they call a very good tackle that ideally gets you back possession. But now we need Ivory Coast to see if they can string up something and play. Now, starting from this set piece, especially now inside the Senegal half, can they be able to do something? They have been on the back foot for so long. Let's see what they do when they have ball in hand.
Elias Koulibaly with the line out, but then they lose the line out. Ivory Coast, they're not playing like a team that is really in rhythm today. Ball is picked up there, very good bustling from Christian Sahin of, or rather Mamadou Mo of Senegal. And again, Senegal's Lamine Silla tries to pick it up as Ken again, Demba doing a good job in distributing, carrying the ball, and then there's a breaking of the lines here from number 13, Sanya Alassane of Senegal, but then somehow the pass is not good enough, and the ball is well picked up by Ivory Coast now. That was some bit of relief for Ivory Coast, Ruben.
Yeah, definitely. Good line break there by Senegal, but unfortunately the player focusing on looking for too much of the support instead of keeping his eyes on the ball, and with the panic, he just went for the switch that was loose, and unfortunately they lost the ball. But luckily enough here, the pressure and defense has allowed them to get back possession. Senegal really having answers to all the questions.
It's a bit of a surprise how Ivory Coast lose the ball in that particular phase of play. You thought that they had some real good control of the ball.
Yeah, pressure at the breakdown there by Senegal. Of course, Senegal, the one thing they have done right is not allow Ivory Coast to really have any comfortability when it comes to ball in hand. Whether it's them having the attack or passing the ball out wide, or them at the ruck, there's constant pressure going on from one side to the other, and it's causing a lot of pressure on Ivory Coast. But we can see here there's a consultation between the referee and the assistant. Perhaps it's something that has been observed that they are going to go back and review.
Well, play stops momentarily as, of course, medical break is needed for one of Senegal's players. Seems to be signaling that he got hurt somewhere near the ankle. As one of Ivory Coast coaches also lays down some instructions to his players here.
Yeah, that medical break perhaps giving them an opportunity to maybe regroup and maybe have some messages passed on to the team. Ivory Coast will really need to re-strategize. The first 14 minutes also have not really been the best for them ideally.
For Cote d'Ivoire's technical bench, clearly not happy about proceedings here. As the ball was touched down there by
yeah, that's just that's sheer power. Yeah. Sheer power there that Ivory Coast could not defend off the maul. Beautiful stuff, and the big men are able to dot down.
It was actually the prop, the loose head, that is Pifat Marvin, actually, rather Mamadou Cisse, who got that try.
Thumping tackle there.
I guess that's where you need your forwards to actually be in such positions because of that bulldozing tendency that they provide.
Yeah, definitely. Ivory Coast not providing a very good maul defense in that regard. From the collisions, really, Senegal is stopping everything. But when even you look at the general scope of things, Senegal is stopping everything from the set piece to the ball in hand, and then even with the mauls. So everything that that both teams are really competing at, Senegal is coming out on top, and Ivory Coast needs to do something different if they want to get a good result out of this game.
Yeah, they definitely need to change the way they've approached the game. But we've been talking about it right from the start. Ball handling has not been good. The movement on and off the ball has not been good. And then even when it gets to the racks or even in the malls, you don't see them apply themselves with that much desired energy.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, these two sides, this is the second time they are meeting in Uganda. The first time they met in Uganda was in 2015 at the Tier 1B Africa Cup. And of course, it was a 2019 victory for Ivory Coast that time.
So clearly Senegal learned a lesson, and they're looking a totally different side from then. But then when you look at even the difference in rankings, you think that maybe the Ivory Coast, who lead Senegal by 14 places, definitely have a better showing than what we've seen as Senegal push back Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast withstand the pressure, and Ken Demba gets the ball out. As the rack is secured there. Good play there coming in now from Senegal as they try to pick the passes, as they try to dislodge the opposition here. And that is, of course, Bonafal, one of the newly introduced players. Didn't start the first game. Shot number 4, and then there's a break on the line. Shot number 13, Sanya Lassan, running by the try line. Can he get the pass in? No, he messes it all up.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate there. Sanya Lassan looking for the offload. Yeah. But you can see he's not happy with himself. Of course, they were trying to push him outside, and he had to look for the support player. But unfortunately, the support player wasn't as close. But even the defense, kudos to them, of course, blocking those passing lines, not allowing him to pass to the next man. So great recovery there by Ivory Coast. But now they have another assignment on their hands.
Yeah, definitely, because it's going to be a scrummage here right by the try line. And they've got to do a good job here in trying to stop what has been a very determined Senegal side this morning here in playoff placement game. The first one of the 4 that we have today, and then
yeah, a bit of a collapsing and at the scrum. And it's going to be Ivory Coast's advantage. Silly mistakes there by Senegal when you have all the momentum.
Yeah, because clearly that's a sign of lack of concentration. Because how could they let the scrum collapse? But then they get the ball back, and now this time it is Lamine. Kadim Cisse gets it now. Now Ivory Coast somehow they just can't get out, and now it is an opportunity for Senegal. And Ndiaye breaks the lines, and this time, wow, that is beautiful play by Ndiaye, who gets Senegal their second try of the game. And maybe this time, considering from where he has made that try, he should be able to convert and extend the Senegal's lead to 12-0. Now, that was beautiful.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to jinx his kick, but definitely that's what he brings, and that is why he's their talisman. From wherever he is, whether he's in number 10 or number 13, he hurts the defense. But it all starts with
wildest dreams would think of scratch.
Game management there by Ivory Coast. It begs to question what the leadership group is all about. They will have some really tough conversations amongst themselves. But yeah, definitely the conversion goes in there. But Ivory Coast, very suspect decisions they are making early in this game, and that was one of them. You get a penalty off the scrum, you choose to just tap and go, and then you lose the ball off the first carry by that number 5 there, shot number 5, losing the ball. Then the turnover comes, and Ndiaye looking to exploit the gaps, and he punishes them. Every mistake that has come by Ivory Coast has been punished by Senegal.
Yeah, that is exactly what good teams are made of. They punish mistakes. Ball is well picked up by shot number 14 of Senegal this time. GB Diallo following that restart from Ivory Coast. One thing that we've observed from this game after the 20 minutes that have been played is that Senegal have just been in the ascendancy. Now, very good kick coming in from Mamadou Ndiaye. Kicks from territory, but the ball just goes straight out. So it will be a line out for the Ivory Coast.
Yeah, some very good territory there for Ivory Coast.
I wonder whether they can take advantage, Ruben.
Yes, but of course their set piece has been shaky. The line out hasn't been convincing. But you can see some communication there coming from the bench. Being a water boy in rugby is something that is very interesting because it's not just a matter of taking water. You deliver the messages from the coach who's not allowed to be on the touchline. And you can see there finally, it wasn't a good line out, but they're able to gather still. Let's see if they can make something out of it.
Well, it seems like Senegal have put pressure on them, and clearly they turn over the ball. As, of course, Plati Alexandra is suggesting, that is the number 10 of Ivory Coast, that there was diving in from the Senegalese.
Yeah, definitely. Senegal seeming to have an answer to everything that Ivory Coast asks. And yet again, they are unable to protect their ball at scrum time, at the ruck rather. Yeah, and it's quite unfortunate that we have not seen a string of 4 phases from the Ivory Coast players.
Just look at how that ruck was run over by Senegal. Yeah, as Ivory Coast were trying to protect the ball, they just didn't do a good job. You look at that replay, and the ball is well released there by Alexander Plati, but then they just don't protect the ruck. Yeah,
but the support player there at the ruck is too high. You cannot protect your ball when you're that high. He made it so easy for Senegal to push him off the ruck. Yeah, it was it's really poor technique from most of the things they're doing early in this game. I don't know if it's a case of pressure or I don't know. They played better on match day 1 against Algeria. It is quite surprising how they are playing today against Senegal.
Knock on by the Senegalese, and it's going to be a ball to Ivory Coast. It's going to be another scrummage here with 18 minutes left in this first half here at the Nelson Mandela Stadium. It's the Africa 15s Rugby Cup, which will be winding up on Sunday here with the final set to be played that particular day, as well as the other playoff games. As teams get the positions. What a good job being done there at the scrummage. So it's going to be reset here according to the referee. But Senegal are in a very happy place, leading 12-0.
Yeah, definitely. They'll have a bit of caution as well, knowing that 12-0 is not the most comfortable of scores when it comes to rugby. One score from Ivory Coast could change the trajectory of things.
Absolutely.
So they'll be intent in trying to get some more points on board, especially before the end of the first half.
Ball is to be fed in by Ivory Coast. Kamara Adama. This ball is to be Kamara Adama who picks it up. They scrum off. Finds his teammate Diallo Diane. But then there's a bit of a loose ball there, but this time's well protected. And just look at what Senegal does at the rock to try and get Ivory Coast out of the way. But Ivory Coast are able to keep the ball this time as Pivot Marvin picks it up. But then there's a bit of a knock on here, and it's advantage now to Senegal.
Yeah, a bit of a suspect call there from the referee.
Yeah.
There was hands on the ground, the player not supporting their body weight as they were going on for the turnover for Senegal, but he seemed to let it slide. And Senegal have the possession back.
Well, it is a penalty to Senegal.
Yeah, definitely. They are again at the ruck, not supporting the body weight, and you can see the frustration that comes through. Ivory Coast, nothing seems to be working out for them, but yet again, the pressure from Ivory Coast there, unfortunately, is not paying off. Senegal getting an opportunity off, and there were 2 men there without any pressure. They had the opportunity.
And they were bundled off by 1 man. That's the interesting thing.
Yeah, that just shows, it all goes back to technique. That, of course, is quite unfortunate for Ivory Coast. I'm sure at halftime there are going to be some real tough conversations in their locker room.
Well, definitely. If you look at that performance that they've exhibited in this half, there's a lot that they've got to work on. I'll be reminded that immediately after this game at midday we shall have Uganda taking on Burkina Faso in another placement game. Line out by Senegal, well executed.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, they are carrying the ball off the maul. utilizing their size, and Demba Kane moves the ball out wide as Senegal try to ask the questions. Ivory Coast scrambling in defense.
Good hold-up play there. If you can see the job that's been done by Ndiaye. Doesn't lose the ball, still make sure that his team has got the advantage. Demba Kane. Good sharing of the ball here, but that was a bit of a loose pass, but still gets in with Karim Cisse. Takes the ball well, and Senegal do a good job at the ruck. Very good ball carry there by shot number 8 of Senegal for Fan Abdel Karim. Now Ndiaye Mamadou, and again the lock there, shot number 4, Bonafal. But then there was a forward pass there.
Yeah, definitely. Of course,
to Ivory Coast.
Some poor handling there, and it's going to be advantage to Ivory Coast. But a chance again for some of the players to get some medical attention. As well, the conditions now starting to get a lot hotter, and
definitely.
the players can feel it. Yeah, of course, these teams, of course, have met, like we said, they've met a couple of times. First time they met on neutral ground was in 2018, and that was a 25-21 victory in favor of Ivory Coast. Then they met at Chadondo, as we mentioned, in 2015, which was a 22-19 victory in favor of Ivory Coast. And then, of course, in 2015, still in Toulouse, that was a 14-20 matchup that was won by Senegal. And then in Castres, France, it was a victory for Senegal, 33-10. And then, of course, in Tunis in October 2010, which was a 21-6 victory for Senegal. So it has been both sides getting their fair share of advantage in the previous matchups. But this one holds particular relevance. So both teams at the back of their minds will know that a victory here is very, very, very vital. No one wants to play in that 7th, 8th placement game.
Yeah,
and
the pressure that comes with that game, well aware that you fail to win it and you're dropping down a tire. That's definitely not something that either of these nations would want to find themselves in.
Yeah, and I think it's also a case of how you manage pressure. And Ivory Coast not seeming to manage the pressure as well as Senegal in this particular matchup. Like I said, we have not seen even 4 phases complete by the Ivorians as compared to the Senegalese, who seem to be a lot more composed. I think the changes that were made by the coach will seem like they are paying off. I mean, they're able to execute their structure well. They are going in for the ball. Their set piece is a lot better. And I think the switch of Ndiaye to number 10 has really been instrumental in all this.
Yeah, but the coach of Senegal is not the only one who has made changes. Even the match referee has had a change of kit from the green to the blue. I don't know whether there was a sense that his jersey was clashing with what the Ivory Coast are wearing as the two sides prepare for the scrummage here with the Ivory Coast. Kamara Dama picking up the ball, looking for support, and he gets it from Sekou Traore. Continue to build up here and held up in a tangle for Ivory Coast is Otto Emmanuel, shot 11, and the ball is turned over by Senegal.
Yeah, turnover there yet again.
It's been the major talking point in this game.
Ivory Coast can't seem to protect their ball. For whatever reason, they cannot protect their ball.
And if that continues as has been the case in this game, then there isn't a cut in hell's chance that they can win this game.
Yeah, definitely, as the referee calls it back for a previous infringement, waiting to just, of course, I think it was a bit of a knock-on the ground there, but still advantage to Senegal. We haven't seen a lot of Ivory Coast in the 22-meter area of the Senegalese.
Yeah, have they even got there in this half?
The closest I think they reached was on the 22-meter line. They had a line out which they lost after one phase. But unfortunately, this is not convincing for the Ivory Coast players. And I think all those watching and with their interest towards Ivory Coast, they will really find this hard to watch at the moment and hope that there is better fortunes in the future.
Seem to have put up a better performance against Algeria over the weekend. That is the Ivory Coast. How it has suddenly changed, and it's a side entry, so it's a penalty to Senegal.
Yeah, definitely. Yet again, another error at scrum time there. And you can see the referee saying, of course, a bit of wheeling there from the Ivorians. Maybe also absorbing a lot of the pressure of the big Senegalese and not knowing how to deal with it. And yet again, extra meters for Senegal are gained. Or maybe I just spoke early. They are not finding touch.
Very interesting game of rugby. But if you're just joining us, this live broadcast of the Africa Rugby Cup.
Oh, and that's a beautiful 50-22. For all the things that have not been working out for Ivory Coast, that 50-22 from Alexandra was very, very great.
Yeah, that was
It puts them, we talked about, of course,
the 22 now.
They are now finally in the 22, and they are at the 5-meter mark.
Yeah.
They get the opportunity to perhaps do something special with this one. I hope they don't make a mess of it.
Yeah, exactly. But you know that the interesting thing is that if you were to pick out one Ivory Coast player that has been acquitting themselves quite well, it is their shot number 10, Pilati Alexandra. And no wonder that kick came from him.
Yeah, definitely, of course, he's there, number 10. They'll need him to pull a lot of those strings, but he needs his team also to come to the party and help him out.
Alone. And then very good line out there, the throw in, but then they fumble it. Eventually, the ball is taken away by Senegal. Line out coming in now from Elias Koulibaly, but his teammate here, shot number 7, Simbiri Omar, just couldn't
yeah, a lot of
good hold of the ball, and the pass was clearly poor one.
Yeah, a lot of the things that Ivory Coast does seem to be rushed at the moment.
Desperate.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of panic, and it's too early for them to be panicking. And they get a line out. They choose to go for the short ball, and which was fine. Yeah. But at that moment, you just carry and keep the ball. They choose instead to have that extra pass. They force the pass, and then they lose the ball. Yeah. And it's like Senegal at this point is waiting for them to actually force the pass so that they can make the turnover. And it has worked for Senegal in defense so much.
The only relief they have now is that they've got another line out, Elias Koulibaly. Throw the ball in. Throws it, but well taken by Senegal. This time they lose the line out. And that is not good news for this Ivory Coast side, because we know how well Senegal have been at the maul. As they continue to gain territory here.
And they milk the penalty just as they wanted. Of course, the players illegally entering that maul, the Ivory Coast players, of course, but this is a tactic that the big men of Senegal are using a lot, knowing that they can use, of course, the maul, move it around and just steadily march towards the half of the opposition. And Ivory Coast unable to really handle that one in defense and giving out another penalty, a chance for them to perhaps get some extra meters inside the Ivory Coast half and perhaps see how to maybe do another maul, and then you see if they can get a try out of it yet again.
Yeah. They've got an opportunity for a penalty, but like you pointed it out, they're possibly going to go for touch and try and get as close.
But
to
you can see there, binding and then steadily moving. They make, of course, the train off the maul, and you can see the illegal entry there. And then the second one, of course, illegally pushing the player off the maul.
Well, there's a lack of basics from this Ivory Coast side, from what we are seeing, Ruben. Just basic rugby technique and application is lacking here.
Yes, definitely, and you could see the referee had enough of it.
Side entries. So it's going to be a line out to Senegal, and Kaba Sisse was done particularly well on that front, but this time they lose the ball. It's a bit of pressure coming in from Ivory Coast, and one could say that they will be happy with themselves that they were able to force Senegal into losing the line out.
Good contest there at line out from Ivory Coast.
Elias Koulibaly goes down for Ivory Coast. Picking up the ball is, of course, Kamara Adama. Then on the far side, Ouattara Yao with one of the tries that Ivory Coast has scored in this tournament. Shot number 12. And then Alexander Pilati gets the ball to his scrum of Kamara Adama.
Ivory Coast playing advantage there.
Yeah, and you can see that they're trying their utmost to keep the ball better than they were doing for much of this half. And there's a knock-on there from Alexander Pilati, shot number 10 of the Ivory Coast.
A bit of, in my opinion, an intentional one. He didn't seem to want the play to go that way, so he killed the advantage so that he can go back for the penalty. So it's interesting to see what they're going to do from this particular one. The last time they got a penalty, they chose to tap and go. Do they tap and go this time around, or will they kick for touch?
This time, as the ball is in the hands of Traore Sekou, shot 15, definitely be kicking for touch.
Good kick there by, of course, the Ivorians.
Yeah, Traore Sekou shot 15.
Exactly at the 22-meter line.
So it gives them a bit of advantage here to try and see if they can get themselves onto the scoreboard.
Yeah, the one thing that Ivory Coast needs to do is not panic. If they can win their set piece and just
because
play.
The lead is not so big.
Yes, the lead is not so big, and they just need to pile pressure on Senegal. And as you can see, there is a lot of panic in everything that Ivory Coast does. You wonder why the hooker was throwing the ball like that. They haven't yet called. The referee has not signaled, but he's throwing the ball there.
See that there's a bit of apprehension between the players, and they don't seem to agree, because to make that kind of throw in while your teammates are not ready, it's a pointer to some real bad communication or bad vibes in the team. Pilati picks it up. They had lost it previously, and then they are pushed back. Pilati Alexandra. Ivory Coast finds Traore Sekou. Well tackled by Senegal, but the rack is well secured this time by Ivory Coast, something that we've been mentioning quite often. So this phase of play has looked a bit better for the Ivory Coast than what we've seen in previously. Christian Sahin, shot number 3, goes down. Good protection of the ball, securing the rack, and again, very good spin move here, coming in from their shot number 10, Pilati. But Senegal is just not allowing them any more inroads into their area.
Yeah, definitely, but you can see yet again another handling error, but however, it's a penalty for offside. You think that was a bit of a penalty in a kicking distance. Maybe they could have chosen to go for some points, but they are piling on the pressure, and they have another penalty now deep inside the 22-meter area. This is the best phase of play that we have seen from Ivory Coast so far.
Yeah, and that's good play coming in from Elias Koulibaly, the hooker, shot number 2. As Alexander Pilati picks it up and finds Sekou Traore getting close to the try line, and yes, even it was inevitable. Finally, Ivory Coast get their first try at a point where you could say they played their best rugby so far.
Definitely, and that's what happens when you keep momentum going, you keep the carries going. When the players are not really panicking and holding ball and choosing to carry and secure the ball, if the support play is there in time to protect the ball as well to avoid the turnovers, that's what Ivory Coast can do to hurt Senegal. And that's a very, very good set of play. And of course, Alexandra Pilati moving the ball out wide, and then the finish at the end. A very good play there from the man on the wing to break the tackles, and then having the energy and the guile to move and dot down in the corner.
Well, it seems like even the responsibility for the conversion is going to go to the same man, Traore Sekou, shot 15. Can he split these balls? That will be the hope of his teammates. Reduce the deficit to 5. Comes close, but not close enough, and in the end, wasted opportunity. Not the best of kicks, Ruben.
Yeah, definitely not the best of kicks, but at least they have the try, and that makes it 7 points as the deficit. And you say with the second half to come, there's still a lot to play for. I'm sure this is going to really reignite them. They now know what they need to do. One, they need to play territory, and then they need to make sure that they pile on as much pressure on Senegal as possible. But also a bit of complacency from the Senegalese. Having been 12-0 up, perhaps they thought that maybe they were so much in control, but finding themselves now they have conceded a try, and they're inviting unnecessary pressure on themselves. Again, that they should have perhaps played as they played in the first 15 minutes or so. Pile the pressure in their half, play good territory, and make sure you get as many points as possible. Now it's a game on our hands.
Yeah, definitely. And now that he stepped on the line, that is Ivory Coast to Emmanuel, so it's ball to Senegal. Now these are the mistakes that you feel are quite costly here, so it's going to be a line out. like you pointed out, Ruben, you feel that there was a point where Senegal were really on top of the game and they should have scored a few more tries, which they did not.
Yeah, definitely. They had so many.
Suddenly the game has changed.
Yeah, and that's the thing about rugby. You get your chances, you're supposed to use your chances. When you don't use your chances, that's what comes to happen.
There's a penalty to Ivory Coast. Penalty to Ivory Coast here, according to the referee. Seems like Alexander Pilati of Ivory Coast will be going for touch instead to try and get the ball into the 22 or near the 22, as the line out will be executed by the Ivory Coast here with about 1.5 minutes left in this first half.
Yeah, definitely. Ivory Coast will be intent to see if they can get some extra points before the end of this half. It is something that would definitely lift their spirits as the water goes. They know they need to protect the ball now and move it as much as possible.
And good breaking of the lines here by Pilati, but doesn't go far, but still make sure that Ivory Coast have got the ball. And then they lose it at a point where you felt that they're having some good phase of play there. And instead, now it's Senegal on the front foot here, but then that was the last act of the first half here at the Nelson Mandela Stadium in Namboole, where we go into that break with Senegal leading 12-5. And if you're just joining us, remember that we have a second half to come, as this game is brought to you courtesy of SBS Sport and Kawowo Sport. We'll take a break and we'll be back in approximately 10 minutes. Welcome back to the Nelson Mandela Stadium for the second half of Ivory Coast against Senegal, West African derby in this Africa 15s Rugby Cup placement game. It is a battle for fifth place as we get underway here. John Vianney and Simbe and Ruben Chihumuro bringing you this live broadcast courtesy of NBS Sport and Kawowo Sport. At halftime, Senegal went into that break leading 12-5, 7-point difference. Now it is all to play for in this second half. But then, looking at the way Ivory Coast finished, this game is far from over, Ruben.
Yeah, very, very vital. 40 minutes to go. Both teams will know, I'm sure, both coaches told them that, you know what, the intent needs to be there, the attitude needs to be there, but of course, everyone wants to avoid that 7th, 8th placement game. So who gets the vital points, starting from the territory, it's going to be very key to see how these teams approach this particular half.
Kaba Sisse with the first line out in this second half. Gets the ball in quite well to Kadim Sisse, and now the fly half there with the man with the ponytail. Got one of the tries. There he is, Mamadou Ndiaye, breaking the lines, go through 2-3, and then he finds his mate here, Demba Kane over Senegal. They do a good job at the rack, continue to protect him, but then there is a knock-on. Oh, how unfortunate that will be, the knock-on committed by Abu C, one of the players that did not start the first game against Kenya that have been introduced today by the Senegal coach Saku. And clearing for territory right now is Ivory Coast Traore Sekou. I guess to relieve the pressure, they just had to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes you just have to get the ball out of your half so that you can buy yourself some time to reorganize. Yeah, you are not supposed to interfere with the player in the air or try to tackle them in the air. That could be a yellow card if the referee deems it fit. As you can see, the player on the ground is in a lot of agony, and you can see some concern there as well. But those are things that you don't like to see in the game, apparently. When a player goes up in the air, if you do not have a chance for contest, the rules clearly state that you're supposed to back off and wait for the player to land on the ground, as you can see, in the air, and he tackles man in the air, and then the landing is very, very...
Yeah, but I don't think you'd condemn the Ivory Coast number 9, Kamara Daman, much for that, because I think he had his hand stretched out, hoping that the ball was going to drop, and then it was a bit of losing of footing by the Senegal player instead. That is shot number 15.
Keep in mind that the player in the air is in momentum and he's in the air, so if the slightest of contact from the man on the ground can easily disrupt the landing of the player in the air.
True.
So that could be
judged as a foul?
Yes, it is a foul ideally, but of course when you look at it in that particular way, however little the contact is, it can cause so much impact. So that is why the laws are very, very strict on that particular kind of act.
Well, it doesn't seem like the referee is going to order.
Yeah, I don't think it was too lethal.
Yeah.
So I think he'll get away with just a penalty and no yellow card for that particular one.
Yeah. I think that even looking at the replay, you would see that clearly he did not premeditate it. It was just an accident, pure accident.
Mamadou Ndiaye, they are really being a bit lackluster with the way he's kicking the ball, getting an opportunity to get touch and not following through with his kick, and kicks the ball into touch, which means it's back where he kicked from, and it's advantage to Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast in this beginning of the second half seems to have all the gods smiling at them. The opportunities are going their way, possession is going back to them. Now they need to also favor themselves and put in the effort, get out of their half, get into the Senegalese half and put in as much pressure as possible and perhaps score a second try. They need that try before Senegal can put any points on board.
Well, the big disappointment for Senegal, like you said, Mamadou Ndiaye was one of those players that you want to have that ball in hand and would have expected to play the ball in the right position to try and see that Senegal can build on it. But instead, like you said, bit lackluster there. Now an opportunity for Senegal. Chekou Traore finds his teammate here, Kone Sherif. Then it's Pilati. And then now Ahmed Diarra, shot number 19, the lock. And then
yeah, the lock, Diarra unable to hold the ball. Like we always say here in commentary, that basic rule of rugby, make sure you hold the ball if you want to play. And you can say maybe perhaps Pilatri's pass went a little bit back, and for a big man of his size, focusing on getting the ball from the back and then turning and then trying to go into contact, he did not have enough time to prepare himself, and Ivory Coast lose possession yet again.
Yeah, even at moments where you feel that maybe Ivory Coast could take advantage, somehow they just can't do it. They just seem to easily cede possession back to Senegal.
Yeah, definitely. I think there is something from both teams where they are really not taking this game by the scruff, where they could easily hold it and then boss it, dominate with the pressure, as we can see some changes coming on. But no team is really putting in the initiative to want to take charge of this game. Both teams are having it in a way that they have good spouts of play, and then other spouts are really, really poor. Then you find the other team doing the same thing. So it's really a topsy-turvy situation when you look at both sides, and something needs to change, really.
And the tight head there of Ivory Coast, Christian Sahin, is taken off. He's replaced by Tiede Kone.
Sahin Christian makes way for
Shot number 18, Kone Tiede, has been introduced. Shot number 18. Well, I guess the message is clear there that the Ivory Coast coach feels he needs more from his forward, so he brings on a fresh body.
Big scrum there by Ivory Coast, and you can see what it means to them. Big scrum. The whole of the first half, we saw the Senegalese scrum bossing, and you can see that's a quick start as the Ivorians are not ready.
Good play there coming in from Ivory Coast. Suddenly, can they keep that ball? And yes, they do. Shot number 14 makes the race in Nakanabo. For the first time, we're seeing him have an impact on the game, and the ball is picked up by the fly half. It's interesting how Pilati keeps picking the ball up during the racking here, and now this time it is his mate Kamara Adam, shot number 9, but then play will be brought back following an earlier infringement. So penalty to Ivory Coast.
Yeah, penalty to Ivory Coast, and it's going to be interesting to see what decision they go for. That was a high tackle there by one of the Senegalese defenders. Do they go for the points? Do they kick for line out, or do they tap and go? And you can see Pilati pointing to the touch line so that they can be able to go out. We have not seen any nice gestures from the Ivorian coach.
Yeah.
He has been very harsh, you should say.
Yeah,
and rightly so. I think his team can perform better.
Yeah,
for those that all watched the first game against Algeria,
yeah,
this is a standard below the way they were playing.
Got an opportunity at the line out. They do quite well there. Koulibaly held back, secure the rack, and not quite though. So whistle goes, and it is
yeah, that's a free kick. There was an infringement at the line out. Perhaps ball not straight, and yet again
they messed it all up.
At this point, I think we are singing a song.
It's going to be a line out to Senegal. So the referee does some consultation here. This whistle suggests that there's possibly something that he's trying to make a decision on.
There is perhaps someone that needs to go out for a head injury assessment, and that was clearly identified by the assistant referee Umar Barikanda from Uganda. And as per the mandate, when you get a knock on the head, you have to first go out for an assessment. And yeah, we're seeing one of the Senegalese players, shot number 15.
Yeah, that's true. Sakou Saibu.
You can see reluctantly they want to get off the pitch, but it is just protocol. And if he makes it, he can come back if he passes the HIA test. If he does not, then they have to make a full substitution.
Substitution by Ivory Coast, and shot number 13, the right-sided center, that is Kone Cherif, is taken off and is replaced by shot number 22, Diomande Boris. Shot 22. Mande Boris. The Ivory Coast coach seems to have taken to making those early changes in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. Perhaps some fresher legs and fresher minds to change their fortunes. But they have not really been successful at their line-out. Their line-out hasn't been good. That's quite it looked like a dangerous tackle, but the referees seem to find it fine.
Again, Ivory Coast, after gaining advantage, they lose it immediately.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
They won the line out off for the Senegal throw-in, but still, once they get the ball and they're in the flow, then they're always just one step away from a huge mistake. Senegal make a change as well. Demba Ken is taken off. Well, the referee has a word with the two captains here. I wonder what that could be about.
Yeah, perhaps just making sure that there is something he has to get clarity on, that the players need to, through their captains, know that the referee has had enough on a particular infringement that we will later find out when we get the communication. But however, he goes through the captains to make sure that the players are aware of what is being communicated. Rugby is, of course, one of those sports where not every player has the luxury of talking to the referee. It is through your captains that you address any of your concerns, and it is through the captains as well that the referee addresses the team.
So it's a penalty to the Ivory Coast following that high tackle. And Cheku Traore scored their only try in the first half, has an opportunity to bring them to within 4 points of Senegal's lead if he can just split the balls here. Yes, and he does, and that is 8 points to Cote d'Ivoire. 8-12 it is.
Yeah, about 42 meters there, but straight in front of the poles, and he makes no mistake. No thinking about it, no going too much on the side. A straight kick and a straight strike through, and they are adding some very vital points for Ivory Coast as they try to chip in on the lead that Senegal has. Very good distance, very good direction on it. Focus, keeping his head down, and those extra 3 points that he adds will be very, very important for Ivory Coast.
But can they keep the momentum going? We've already seen them make so many countless, I should say, errors, especially when it comes to the way they handle the ball. It's going to be a line out to Senegal here.
A very good touch finder there by the Ivorians, but it's advantage to Senegal. They will be happy because they have the territory inside the Senegalese half. However, it is advantage to Senegal. But I think Ivory Coast, despite there are so many blunders, will be very happy with the score at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
That Senegal has not been able to put them away.
Demba Ken. Ball carry, and then there's a knock on shot number 8 as Ivory Coast forced Fofana Abdel Karim of Senegal to drop the ball.
Big tackle there.
Yeah, it was
really big tackle. And you see, the ball carrier was focusing on the man ahead of him. This tackle came a little bit from the side, so in a way he didn't expect it, and it was a thumping tackle. And that is what you call a tackle that dislodges the ball, and there's a ton of brilliant defense there, brilliant stuff from the number 8 of Ivory Coast.
Diallo does a pretty good job there. They look a totally different side from the way they were in the first half as they continue to ring the changes. Another change for the Ivory Coast. Looks like
yeah, a bevy of changes coming on. I think fresh legs to close this one, right? Out.
Yeah. The lock, shot number 19. That's Hamed Diarra is taken off for Zoko Louison. He's putting on shot 26 as well as shot 21 coming on for Kamara Adama.
Koulibaly Osman.
So with these ring of changes that are being made, you get a feeling that the coach of Ivory Coast is now going for broke.
Yeah, definitely. Go big or go home at this moment. They know they have all to play for, with, of course, about 30 minutes to go in this game. But they are trying to go for a much faster game, and unfortunately, the best player for Ivory Coast this time is the one that lets the team down. I think just a bit of taking his eyes off the ball, as he wanted to do the next thing, take it to the next phase. But unfortunately, you can see off the scrum there, Koulibaly there, quick ball, takes his eyes off the ball, and then knock on. Ivory Coast really, they really make it hard to root for them.
Yeah, exactly. Somehow they're always one step away from a mistake. Even when you feel that they've got the momentum, they definitely shoot themselves in the foot. And now it's advantage Senegal. And Senegal will be relieved, because that seemed like a good move that was building up for the Ivory Coast. Now to fit the ball in is Senegal's shot number.
That should
21.
be Ahmed Saul.
Yeah.
Ahmed Saul should have come on at scrummer for Demba Kane. Perhaps both sides going for a bit of fresher legs.
Demba Kane seemed to be struggling a bit at one point as number 9. I don't know whether they felt that he wasn't moving the ball well enough. So he's been shifted to a different role. Possibly now he'll be playing as the number 10 in place of Ndiaye Mamadou. Or Ndiaye Mamadou moves to center. Coming in from Senegal. And now let's lose the ball there. Good kick there. But not good enough though, coming in from Mamadou Ndiaye.
Yeah, big scrum there by the Senegalese. They tried to effect advantage, but unable to get something out of the advantage. So they come back for the penalty. And I think from this distance, unless they try to go big for the posts, perhaps they will go for touch. But Mamadou Ndiaye has been a bit lackluster in his last 2 touch finders. Hopefully this time round he can be able to focus a lot more. And you can see the intent this time, a big kick that puts them around the 22-meter line. Slightly outside, but good territory for Senegal inside the Ivory Coast half. And perhaps we haven't seen them effect the maul in the second half, as more changes are being rung. I think both sides really looking to go for some fresh legs and fresh minds as they're trying to close out this particular game, the Senegalese. However, the Ivory Coast team with 8 points will also be looking to see how they can come back into this game and maybe still a very famous victory for them.
Of course, if they were to pick a try here, Ivory Coast, then they would be ahead in this game. It's a line out. Senegal do a good job on it there. So try to force the maul here, but Ivory Coast not allowing them to make any major headway here. Senegal still keep the ball, and Jibril still trying to get through Djibit Diallo. Sal picks it up. Now 12 is Abu C. And again, I think there was an earlier infringement, so the referee calls play back.
Yeah, poor pass there by Demba Kane, who we suspected had moved to number 10. That means I think Mamadou Ndiaye has gone back to center where he normally plays. Demba Kane, the captain, moves to 10, and then of course Koulibaly goes to 9. And that's an opportunity for them to move the ball a lot more. As you can see, a penalty allows them to get touch inside the Ivory Coast 22-meter area, and also an opportunity for the medical break to be effected. They said big engines need big service, so perhaps this is one of those situations.
Well, Senegal are looking quite desperate, as I'm sure they must be feeling the pressure, because they know that if Cote d'Ivoire were to get just 1 try, they would go ahead in this game. So they've got to try and make sure that they use every opportunity they get to try and add to their points, as a line out about to be executed at Rakaba Cisse of Senegal.
Senegal will definitely affect the maul on this one if they win the ball.
They pick it up, and then it
Oh,
was
not straight.
right. Was a knock-on actually, apparently.
No, it's I think it's ball not straight. Ball not straight. Yeah. Anyway, we'll have to see the replay to just confirm that one. But in all this, it's advantage to Ivory Coast yet again. I think it's a similar script for both sides. I mean, when Ivory Coast visits the Senegal half, they tend to have some good phases and then they lose the ball. Same thing happens when Senegal comes this side. Play, get good touch, good territory, and then they lose the ball. So really, it's a game that is really filled with so many mistakes. And I think that would be the headline. Mistake-laden game that perhaps Team X, that we are waiting to see who the winner will be, gets away with.
There's a problem with the scrum here, so it will have to be reset anew.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, with the surface, the referee has to make sure that there is stability. It's very important for the safety of the players, for them to be stable in the scrum. Remember, both of these teams approximately are having about 800 kilos on them. On each side, so you need to make sure that it's stable in the scrum before they engage. So while the referee is looking for proper technique, he's also looking to ensure that there is proper welfare and safety of the players.
Yeah, they lock, but then so it's a penalty to Senegal.
Yes, yet again, Ivory Coast wheeling there, and it's going to be a penalty for Senegal. Important and interesting decision here.
Actually.
Yeah.
Somehow you get a feeling that maybe Ivory Coast are not matching up with the strength of Senegal, and that's why they keep wheeling.
Yeah, definitely. The weight disparity can clearly be seen in that scrum. But, oh, another big tackle there. But Senegal patiently this time moving the ball around and using their big men to try and get past the try line.
It's a good hold up. The ball as there's a battle there. There's a penalty for not rolling away after the tackler held on to the Senegal player. He did not roll away, so Senegal are going for the poles instead. That's the decision being made here, and Mamadou Ndiaye picks his spot. You think it's the right call to make, or they would have actually just gone ahead and tried to get the 5 points?
I think it's a wise decision. I mean, it's ever since they scored the 12 points early in the game, they have not been able to get a clear-cut chance. And sometimes they say go for the easy points and then go back and regroup. And what they're also trying to do is really stretch the gap. I mean, Ivory Coast had cut the gap, of course, to 12-8, and now they are looking to add an extra 3 points so that they can continue to stretch the scoreboard.
Yeah,
so it's a game of numbers at this point. Remember, we're in the second half. Teams are mindful of the ticking clock and trying to see how they can be able to get the win. And Mamadou Ndiaye scores the points.
It's now 15 Senegal, 8 for the Ivory Coast. And like Ruben just pointed it out, even the small margins make a difference. That's exactly what we're seeing here. At 15, 8, 7-point gap it is, with about 21 minutes to play. Still enough time for Ivory Coast to get something back from the losing position that they are in as they restart the game. Ball well picked up by Senegal's Fofana Abdel Karim. Kick for territory. Good kick there coming in from Gemba Ken. And then there is a knock-on there. Unbelievable. Coming in from Ivory Coast, Traoré Sekou.
Yeah, Traoré Sekou there could have risked even giving his team, conceding a penalty for his team when he knocked on and then gathering the ball again and kicking it, yet he had already knocked on. By another ref who is not as lenient, could have seen it as a bit of indiscipline.
No, yeah,
luckily enough, because big kick there, and as we are saying, of course, Mamadou Ndiaye gathering there, but that was a very good return kick that Ivory Coast was unable to really field well, and it's going to be opportunity for Senegal yet again to use their big scrum as they have brought Thior on, the big lad, and it's going to be a full day's work really trying to scrum against him.
Yeah, that's true, and of course as Senegal try to take advantage, the scrummage is just not right.
Referee making sure that, of course, that the front row understand what he wants from the particular scrum, talking to both hookers, but in particular trying to apply some of his knowledge to the hooker of Ivory Coast there to make sure that they are engaging well. We have seen a couple of scrums being willed. We have seen a couple of them being shoved back, and Ivory Coast has been on the receiving end of most of these. So there is need for adjustment, and of course, like we say, the referee needs to take care of the safety of these players during scrum time. So he's making sure that the scrum is effected properly.
Ahmed Sal fits the ball in for the Senegalese as they try to push, but then the scrum collapses there.
Yeah, collapsing there. That is, of course, the loose head of Senegal collapsing, and another advantage for Ivory Coast this time to get out of their half. Cheku Traore. Good touch finder.
Yeah, make sure that play is in Senegal's half, at least in the 10. It's a good opportunity here for Ivory Coast if they can take advantage of the fact that they've gained some really substantial territory here. But like we've seen for much of this game, their game has been full of errors, especially handling ones, as a line out is about to be executed here by the hooker number 2 of us. Ivory Coast. Good job done there by Elias Koulibaly.
Definitely a big carries there by the big locks, moving in their pods, and I think we really have to appreciate Pilatre Alexander. He's one of those shining stars for Ivory Coast in a very error-laden game.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys that has really tried to put his best foot forward. And the contest between him and Mamadou Ndiaye at number 10, when Mamadou Ndiaye was still playing 10, has been interesting. Of course, both guys influential for their team. As we say, a turnover for Senegal there. All the weight, all the pressure, countering that ruck. And Ivory Coast were just no match for that one.
Yeah, they forced a turnover as there was a knock-on by Ivory Coast. And time appears to be peeling away with about 17, 16 or so minutes left to play in this half. The thing is that Ivory Coast will need to get into some sort of rhythm if they are to actually get another try. But each time you feel that they are setting themselves up well, then they still slip back into error mode.
I think I have resigned to the fact that I'm not going to believe in Ivory Coast anymore, because they give you hope and then they leave you hanging. But you can see there the tackler holding up the man carrying the ball, and they make sure that he does not drop his knees to the ground. So that means it's not a tackle, or does not allow the referee to tell them to release. And once they put him down finally, and all the weight collapses, ball is unplayable. So it is advantage to Senegal in that regard. Great defensive counter there by the Senegalese. Great awareness.
So it's going to be a scrummage here for Senegal with 64 minutes played.
Ivory Coast will hope that this will be a better scrum for them.
Sal. Ahmed Sal feeds the ball in for Senegal. Hooker gets the ball back. Then somehow Ahmed Sal is able to retrieve the ball. Find Demba Ken. Now finding the ball on the outside is Mamadou Ndiaye. Still keeps the ball alive here. Senegal doing a good job trying to eat into enemy territory here. Ahmed Sal. And then the knock-on coming in from shot number 8 of Senegal, Fofana. But now, turning defense into attack is Alexander Platy of Ivory Coast. Make sure he keeps a good hold of the ball, and Ivory Coast secure the ruck here. And the newly introduced shot 20, Zoko. Gets the ball. Ivory Coast now. Traore Cheku, scorer of their 8 points. Can't go for Pilati. Now shot number 18, Kanisi, that is Tiede Kone. Pilati again. And there's a knock on by Ivory Coast. Shot number 12, Watara Yao.
Yeah, but this has not been a good advert for good handling skills in rugby. We have played 65 minutes and we are waiting to confirm with our statisticians how many knock-ons those have been. But really, they have been quite a lot. Both teams have been unable to really ascend because with every pass that goes, and you can see there, he's running away from the ball. So he's definitely, yeah, he cannot have good grip on that particular ball. And it's a knock-on for the umpteenth time by, of course, Ivory Coast. But even Senegal has been a culprit to that. Both sides really not showing the best of handling skills in this particular game.
Boyo is introduced for Ivory Coast, as is Kaniso Kone. Pivot Marvin is taken off, shot number 1. And we said prop. It's going to be a line out to Senegal here. We still have to play 13 odd minutes to wrap up their slot in the playoff final on Sunday, where either Uganda or Burkina Faso will wait. Senegal doing well on the more, they are pushing back. The Ivory Coast trying to withstand the pressure here. But Senegal are doing quite well, pushing back. Ivory Coast seen this kind of ball in this game until now. Senegal are continuing to build inroads into Ivory Coast half. Just look at what it means. The Senegalese pushing on their teammates. And Ahmed Sall. And again, there was a whistle there. I guess to suggest that there was somebody offside.
Yet to confirm what the referee has called there, but yet again,
to Senegal.
Senegal utilizing the maul. I think, yeah, it must have been a forward pass by the referee, saying that there was something not right there by the Senegalese. Advantage back to Ivory Coast, but how beautiful was that maul?
It's actually advantage Senegal. It seems like...
what could that call be?
And Mamadou Ndiaye plays for touch, so it's going to be a line out for Senegal here, right at the 22 of Ivory Coast. Now this is what they've got to try and defend. So at the line out.
Yeah, a bit of trying to align what the referee was trying to communicate in that regard, but what we know is it is Senegal's advantage, and good feed there. This time not going for the maul, and it's going to be a short ball.
Yeah, very good throw in by Ndiaye Mustafa. The ball is picked up by Mokhtar Sogal Farah, and now trying to push for another try here for Senegal was the man Abdou Ndiaye. Senegal taking their time and of course getting very close, ever inching closer. Shot number 8 gets very close, and that's for Van Abdel Karim.
Yeah, ball held up. Very good defense there by Ivory Coast, holding up, and despite all the pressure, they are able to prevent the try. Ball held up, and it's going to be advantage to them, of course.
Ivory Coast save themselves there by making sure that the ball gets held up. That was very good defensive play by Ivory Coast.
Yeah, definitely.
Otherwise, they would be out of this game now.
Yeah, but with 10 minutes to go, they can't afford to concede a try at this moment.
Yeah, penalty.
Penalty there to Yeah, dragging the man on the ground. He's already on the ground. Why is he dragging him outside? That's what the referee is asking, and then it's going to be a penalty advantage. So decision time for Senegal. Of course, it's a tight angle for them to go for post unless they have a kicker that's brave enough. But however, it gives them the advantage to just kick a few meters ahead for the line out, which of course Mamadou Ndiaye does, and it's going to be another line out to Senegal. And this time around, I think they're going to effect the maul and try to run it through the maul. Of course, they have the size advantage, bigger men. I mean, you can look at, of course, Ndiaye, Abdul, who has just come on, and the rest of the fresh legs coming on. And if they are to win this line out, they could really strike and hurt the Ivorians.
Mustafa Ndiaye, shot 16 of Senegal, to execute the line out here for Senegal. And he does a good job there, picking out his teammates. That's for Fan Abdel Karim. And this is where, like Ruben just pointed out, you expect Senegal to try and effect the maul, push back Ivory Coast, and that's exactly what they are doing with ball in hand. You can look at the support that is coming through, especially from the forwards, making it a lot easier for their team to get close to the try line here. And again, they're pushing through. That's Ahmed Sall, but he's held back by the Ivory Coast defense. You don't think that he was going to be allowed in easily there. And Abdel Karim gets closer, but still yet to get that try in. And this time they drop the ball. That looks like a knock-on.
Yes, that was a knock-on in the tackle, but if they're going back for advantage, I think that's because of offside. But there is a certain resolve that Ivory Coast has when they're on their try line. They would defend it with their lives, and you can see yet again, in a space of about 5 minutes, they are called to the task of defending their line, and they do it so well. I mean, the number 9, Koulibaly, thought that he had snuck through the defender's armpit to perhaps dot down, but he was held while he was trying to go down, a case of shattered dreams. And Senegal, however, have an opportunity to perhaps try another one of their mauls. I think they need to be patient with that maul. They released the ball out of the maul a little too early, but you can see there.
Yet you can see that they've already got the advantage in terms of size and energy.
Yeah. They really need to just calm down and just go through the phases, and everything will work itself out. We are seeing Demba Kane, he's number 10, but now he has gone back to his scrum half role.
Well, very interesting call here if you look at it, because the ball gets swung out and it's picked up by Lamin Silla.
As you can see there,
then they secure the ruck.
Securing the ruck. Then he coming back this side, and then of course the big man not able to hold the ball.
I'm surprised that shot 18 gets the advantage for Senegal because he knocked on the ball.
No, the knock-on was by the Senegalese player, shot number 18 of Senegal, not of Ivory Coast.
Yeah, but they still have the advantage. That's what I'm.
They were playing advantage for offside.
Okay. Interesting clarification here. Senegal trying to execute the maul here, trying to push back Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast also determined, and they're over the line here, but can they touch down? And yes, it is a good try this time, eventually by Senegal. That definitely will create a living daylight between themselves and Ivory Coast, and possibly a match winner. That was excellent play by Senegal. We need a confirmation, and that is 20 points for Senegal. That's shot number 17 who got that try for Senegal, and that is Fernandez Correa. Interesting thing is that there's a man who dropped the ball against Kenya when he was getting to the try line on match day 1.
Yeah, definitely, but it was also much pressure that Ivory Coast could really take. I mean, with everything that has been happening, they defended their line so gallantly, but the weight and the power, the sheer power of the Senegalese was so much this time round, and you could say even a bit of fatigue because they had defended so much. When you don't have the ball and you're defending, you really exert a lot of pressure, and that is what happened, and this time they gave in. And I think with that try, we can say that Senegal gets the win in this particular game. I mean, about 6 minutes or so to go in this one. The first encounter of course, match day 2. And if Mamadou Ndiaye, unfortunately, can't add the icing to that particular score, but they are now in really good advantage with the score.
Yeah, very good position that Senegal find themselves in right now. Leading 28, 12-point game it is. And all they have to do is to keep their focus and concentration. Well, it's a replay of that play that led to the Ivory Senegal's latest try. Let's look at how they executed at the mall.
The first thing that I was going to say about this particular mall is they could have even given a penalty try for a collapsed mall there by Ivory Coast, but then the Senegalese kept going, and this time around you could see they were trying to hold on the ball, the Ivorians, but the Senegalese kept the ball away from their hands and were able to dot down there. Good work there by Fernandez Correa on finding the space and finding the white line to be able to score.
Well, actually, I've received confirmation that it was shot number 8 that scored for that try for Fana Abdel Karim. So it's just a correction there to all our viewers who are tuned in to watch this Africa Rugby Cup. And it's a penalty to Senegal, not releasing man there, according to the hand signal of the referee.
Yeah, tackler not releasing. But however, I think at this point we need to conclude that Senegal is just a little too strong for Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
They have tried to huff and puff, but the pressure, the sheer power, and of course Demba Kane, Mamadou Ndiaye, they have been instrumental for their team in making sure that they drive their forces around. And yet again you can see Mamadou Ndiaye getting some good touch for the Senegalese just outside the 22-meter area, and I wouldn't be surprised if they yet again try to go for another try to really put this beyond any doubt.
Good play there coming in from Senegal, and I'm sure that their coaching staff will be happy about the way their team has applied itself as they try to set up another mall here. Continue to put pressure on Ivory Coast. Now the ball is picked up by Mustafa Ndiaye, the prop. Ahmed Sal. Now it is Sila, Kadim Sise, and then this was blown. It's going to be a penalty to Senegal.
Yeah, penalty to Senegal, yeah. Just bringing down, of course, the mole. And interesting to see what decision is going to be taken. Mamadou Ndiaye has not had his best kicking day at goal.
Yeah.
And you can see from his body language, he's looking to kick for touch. Maybe give his forwards another opportunity to make themselves the stars of this game rather than himself. I know in the previous game he was their standout player. He was the one everyone was talking about. But this time round, his kicking hasn't been the best. But he has chosen to contribute in different ways. And that is get them in good territory. With this, they have the opportunity yet again to go for their customary maul and see if they can be able to score yet another try.
Mustafa Ndiaye with the line-out duties. Was the ball in? Well picked
brilliant
up there.
Line-out, brilliant line-out.
Yeah, and good pick there by Fernandez Correa. And now, again, Senegal will go for the maul as they try to push back Ivory Coast. Senegal again with ball in hand. He's trying to swing it around, and Demba Kane, and then breaking the lines now. He's shot number 13 for Senegal, Sanya Alassane. They do a good job in securing the rock. Demba, and then a very good pass in, and is that a try? It seemed like a forward pass, and the referee says it's a try for Senegal.
Yeah, a lot of complaints there by the Ivorians about that pass, but it was a flat pass, and
I guess we need to see a replay on it.
Yeah, but it was a great awareness by Demba Kane. The hesitation at first before he put in the pass, and then the long pass out wide for them to surely score yet another try, and that is maybe the final nail in the coffin for the Ivorians.
Yeah, 25 score is, and that's the man in the picture. Completed the duties there of finding that try.
And as you can see, the long pass, it was flat, and
shot number 11, that is Sheikh Sana,
the big man. Good hands this time round. In such situations we have been seeing a lot of knock-ons. Luckily enough, he holds on to the ball.
But for me, the biggest surprise is his size for him to be a winger.
Yes, he has that structure of like the Fijian winger Nemani Nadolo. Fast but still big. Yeah, those are some of the modern day kind of wingers that we have in modern rugby.
Yeah.
And that's a brilliant, brilliant score. Can Mamadou Ndiaye do something different? No. His kicking percentage must be below 15% for this particular game. But it won't really matter or mind this one because they really have a good lead, 25 points. And I think he even gets subbed off at this point. With the hooter, this is ideally going to be the last play for Ivory Coast. Senegal will be aware enough to receive the ball, set up and really just kick it out. There is no need for them to really go into a lot of scuffles anymore.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they do. Ahmed Sal kicks out into touch, and that marks the end of the game. 25-8 Senegal make their way to the 6th place playoff final that will be played here at the Nelson Mandela Stadium on Sunday. And all they have to do now is await the winner between Uganda and Burkina Faso. Man of the match is Senegal's shirt number 8, Abdel Karim Fofana. That's the man in the picture there. Got a very important try here late in the second half, but by and large, even his carries were pretty impressive. We hope that you've enjoyed our live broadcast here, courtesy of NBS Sport and Kawowo Sport. Well, it's been an entertaining game of rugby. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back at the top of the hour in exactly 20 minutes with Uganda against Burkina Faso for a place in the 5th, 6th place playoff game that will be played on Sunday. Keep it locked. It's the Africa 15th Rugby Cup here at the Nelson Mandela Stadium.
Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow with subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold. Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow with subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold.
Bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue à la stade national de Mandela Stadium Namboole. Je suis avec l'entraîneur de la Côte d'Ivoire. Monsieur, s'il vous plaît, parlez pour les personnes chez nous et les Ivoiriens.
Les Ivoiriens. Ok, ouais, aujourd'hui, il y a mauvais match. Je ne pense pas que les gars se soient réveillés pour gagner ce match-là. Moins d'envie, pas de détermination. On n'a fait que des fautes. Et en plus de ça, au lieu de se concentrer sur ce qu'on a dit de faire, on est sorti carrément du match. Chacun voulait montrer et aller individuellement. Ça nous a mis en difficulté.
Désolé. Et le match prochain pour le dimanche, it's for relegation. Qui gagnait le match, you survive. Qui gagnait pas le match, you get relegated. Quelque chose tu fais to survive this tournament?
Oui, ben, il y a un moment, il va falloir qu'ils se réveillent, les joueurs, parce que avoir une prestation comme ça et ne pas respecter les consignes, ça donne ça. Ils sont toujours pressés, excités, et tout ce qu'on a donné comme consigne n'a pas été respecté. Et là, cette semaine, il va falloir qu'on bosse là-dessus.
Merci, mon français est un peu, mais I believe the people at home have had.
Ok, ben merci à tout le monde et puis à dimanche.
Bonne chance on dimanche. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be waiting to take the next interview with the Senegalese coach.
Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow of a subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold. Gold.
Today, something they didn't come through on as far as Kenya was. What will it be like to
Don't worry, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah, then don't worry, this one they can hear you. Yeah. Raymond, you put thumbs up when you're ready. Et aussi, je suis avec l'entraîneur du Sénégal, Monsieur Charles. Congratulations on the win after beating Cote d'Ivoire in the placement semi-final. Which things did you do to ensure that you get the win?
Today, I'm very happy for my players because last game we lose against Kenya, and today we want to do the better game for win. Today we very happy and looking for win.
Just une chose. Parler pour les personnes sénégalaises dans chez nous and all over the world. Just one word for the people back at home in Senegal.
I love people in Senegal. I love people in the world. Let's go, Lions. Gende.
Thank you very much, Coach. We struggle with the English and the French, but we figure out a way to communicate. Rugby is the language that we speak.
I'm sorry.
L'anglais et le français est très difficile, mais nous sommes parlés le rugby.
Yes. Definitely, French is very hard. English is hard, but rugby language is more easy. When he plays the field, it's more easy for all team. Thanks.
Merci beaucoup, Coach, and bonne chance au dimanche.
Thanks, man. See you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will take a short break. The pitch is being prepared to welcome the two teams that will be taking part in the second placement semi-final that is going to be between the host Uganda and Burkina Faso.
Beautiful play by India. He will get